Hello friends, and welcome back. Anna Delman here, and it is day number 67, and as shared yesterday, today we want to take a look at patience. So let's look at patience, or rather I want to start with what causes the lack of it in anyone's life, yours, mine, our friends, our community. And we were considering the character traits we're looking for in others and what we want to have to build our strong foundation and to help anchor others on theirs. So what causes the lack of patience? And when you consider what causes the lack of it, you can start thinking of what you can do in your own life to correct the lack of it. It's self-righteousness, right? That we right, our wants, our needs, our desires are the preeminent ones, and others we don't have the patience with them because we want them to fit into what we want, how we want it, people, places and things. It's all of that needs to fit into our agenda. So it's really the lack of love, because love will view all those things differently. It's respect, it's concern for them. So a lack of understanding, that is part of the lack of love. We don't love them because we don't understand them, or we love them and don't understand them. Both of those can be true at the same time. We need to understand why they are operating or functioning in their community, in their lives, the way they are, so that we can have the grace we need to interact with them and not be impatient. And then we want perfection. We want what we consider our value system to be the one on which they operate. And that really does mean that we have a superiority complex, and we are above everybody. And that can be cultural. If you have a cultural perspective on what is right about life, you're going to expect everybody to operate under that guise of your cultural perfection. And is that right? As a Christian, I cannot say your cultural operating is the right way, although you may think it is, if it is different to the biblical standard. And that is so hard sometimes for people to define, especially when they have tried to defend their culture historically as being the right way of managing people, places and things. And if they examined it biblically, they will understand they did it all wrong. So patience is needed with that, right? That's a good opportunity to explain a need for patience. We need to understand it, not condone. Understanding does not mean we condoning behaviors which need correcting, not at all. And then another part of being impatient, the lacking of patience, is stress. We allow stress to creep in, and we are short with everybody. So why are people generally stressful? It's because things are not going their way. They don't like the way things are working out, turning out, or they needing to deal with other people, and they don't have the skills for dealing with difficult people. Again, patience is needed. Pride, I'm right, nobody else is right, nobody else is doing things the way I deem it correct for society. And that goes right back into cultural, traditional expectations of everybody doing their way. Our way is right, our culture's right, traditionally, etc. Now, if your culture didn't do something heinous, you may think you're better than another culture. Not true. That's pride and lacking of understanding, and that needs to be examined. And then selfishness, right? You want everything your way, and nobody else's way is going to work. And that can be a facade. Selfishness can be a facade where you are already self-righteous. You don't want others to see the weakness and see you exposed in areas of your life that you're trying to hide. That needs to change. And then you want control. Your standard is the way everything needs to function in life. And again, cultural standards need to go out the door, and as a Christian, the biblical standard needs to be the operating and the functioning one. And that can be so slight in difference there, but it really needs careful examination, because often that is where in those slight aspects is where the greatest offenses are. Is that personal to me? Am I being self-righteous in making that statement? No, not at all. If it's biblical, then that's the foundation, the morality, the brick on which I am building and standing and structuring and growing, changing along the way. If it says something different, then that is what we need to change. Okay, so how to correct? Change your mindset on all those things that I've listed. Change it. Evaluate your emotional foundation. Why are you functioning, operating the way you are, in difference to what true patience is? Correct your behaviors, all of them. Examine them according to the foundation on which you are functioning. If your foundation isn't strong and you need to add some bricks, then do so. Sometimes you need to chip out old ones and replace them with better ones. Old bricks decay if they are not taken care of or weren't planted correctly from the start. And often that is what we have assumed our functioning level should be, has always been historically on a decaying brick. It needs to be excavated and new ones need to be put in place. The lack of patience is in one word: unkind. Well, more than one. Unkind is unloving, it's ugly, and so we need to change. And now it is day number 24. So we are going to look at Proverbs 24, and my life verses are in here, which is why I find the Word of God a treasure for my life, because it excavates and undermines. It's a two-edged sword which delves down between bone and marrow to the deepest recesses of who I am, to expose what I need to change. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, I have a lot to change. But let's look at first. Sorry, there's an aircraft going over, and it's a small airport nearby. I have no idea what time of day aircraft are taking off or are landing, so please forgive that, but let's keep going. Right, that's life. I can be my choice. Do I have patience with that and continue going and explain to you what's occurred and that I do not have control? It's all hours of the day this occurs, and sometimes I try and time this between aircraft flying overhead, and before I know, it should be 10, 15, 20 minutes before the next one, and I sometimes get it wrong. They just keep going. But anyway, Proverbs 24, verses number 3 and continuing. I've referred to this before, so you've heard it before, but here goes again. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. And that's the two verses I love. But I'm going to continue for your edification. A wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. For by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. People, we can do it. We can allow the Word of God to infiltrate our lives to the level where it becomes our operating standard. It becomes that foundation so sure of how we function. However, we do need community to get there. And as verse number 6 says, for by wise guidance you can wage your war. You can fight out life to be victorious. And in abundance of counselors there is victory. If you are struggling and you need guidance and counseling on how to move forward or to deal with things that you're unsure of or uncertain in life, please, I urge you to find it. And if you do not have any solid, strong, mature, knowledgeable, wise counselors in your community, and that happens, that is true, then there are so many books written on various topics explaining how you can work through those issues in your life. Please Google them, find them. Go into the YouTube search bar and find something there. You'll find talks, discussions, lectures, sermons to cover what you are grappling with. I encourage you to do it. It will make a difference to your life. And as verse 3 and 4 says, from your mind to your functioning, to your relationships, to your home, all of it, if you have a standard on which you are wanting to live, and mine, I've referred to that before, is on the foundation of the Word of God, you can do it. You will find joy in your isolation, meaning you don't have a community around you that is like-minded, but that's okay, because you have a God, and His Word is your foundation, and that is your function ability. Until tomorrow, take care and God bless, and we'll talk again. Bye-bye for now.